This video was brought to you by War Thunder. More about that later. Vanilla Vehicles Expanded. The mod so many people wanted, and after so many years, we have it. Been a while since it released, which gives us the time to talk about it. The mod add-ons, not to mention a few mods to make your Mad Max experience that much better. Alright, a few things out of the way. The mod itself, you are gonna need the framework of both Vanilla and Vehicles Expanded, but that's no problem. What might be is what else do you add? Well, the base Vanilla Vehicles Expanded is all you need to get started with the other official mods more as add-ons. We will talk about them later though, for now we talk about the base. First things you need, the garage. Can't be a grease monkey without a place to tune up your ride. You research basic vehicles to gain the garage bench, which from there lets you build parts out of components, steel, and maybe a few other bits and bobs. For the most part, you can make a lot of the parts with this alone, but some, like say the radiator, needs other research like air conditioning, biofuel for fuel tanks, and so on. So if you are missing a part, check your research. As for how many resources you need, I recommend around 5-ish of each if you just want parts always, or just make what you need for whatever ride you make. Some other stuff you get are garage doors, doors that either open automatically or with the help of some unpaid intern. Do note, they don't open for colonists on foot if automatic, they are for vehicles to pass through. You also get automatic fuel pumps, cause hey, why not make a gas station? Just remember not to smoke, but in all seriousness, they are great. Just park a vehicle in the interaction spot and they get refueled. Finally, tank traps. They prevent vehicles from moving forward. As of writing this script, raiders don't bring their own vehicles, but when they do, maybe remember these to stop Mad Melvin from coming in on the war wagon. So how about actually using the rides? Actually pretty simple. Step 1. Get a vehicle. You can easily craft one at the basic level of vehicle crafting, but more complex ones will require more research. Step 2. Direct a pawn into a vehicle. Step 3. Drive them around. Yeah, that's simple. You get to control them like any other pawn. However, a few things to keep in mind. Number 1. The speed of a vehicle isn't max. In the beginning, you gotta commit to the move and build up momentum, which leads to point 2. Momentum doesn't stop on a dime. Well, that's not true. You can emergency brake, but your parts won't like it, causing damage to the parts. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. If a vehicle has a weapon, you can reload it like a turret and have a passenger pawn use them. They even fire while you move if you have a passenger-mounted weapon. Oh, and before you ask, yes, you can run people over. Most people instinctively dodge, but accidents happen, or you make them happen. Do note that your vehicle may take damage from the encounter. Yes. Also, they make for great caravan vehicles or raiding vans, but we will talk about roles right about... So let's talk vehicles, and what their roles would be in a colony. Not all of them are made equal or of the same parts, but hey, everyone has some value in the colony. Starting with the Tier 1, simpler vehicles, we have the Prowler. A pretty respectable off-road vehicle, it only has room for one colonist, but with its decent speed and cargo space. You might have your first caravan vehicle, at least in the early game. The dinghy is a boat. Yeah, that's right. You can use this for shore-based colonies to move to other shores. Island playthroughs can be done now. Only problem, while it has good cargo and passenger space, it's not the fastest, plus it doesn't do well in winter or in rivers. The Frog is basically a reusable drop pod, actually faster than normal ones, and given its reusability, you could use this for quick ambushes, either on your own map or to quickly add in reinforcements on a raid. The Traveler is a driver and passenger, car for roads only. Doesn't do well off-road either. But if you live on the highway, then this here can deliver the goods as if it were the Mojave. The Bang Bus gets its name from the loud bang the engine makes when it backfires. Subtlety is not the name of the game of this roading vehicle, but for raiding parties who want to drive to their destination, not a bad idea. The Mule is the carrier of the Tier 1s. A bit slower than the rest, but the cargo capacity is really going to help those marketing tips. The Dirt Bike is the lightest of the Tier 1s, and as fast as you think it is. If you need to get somewhere fast, this could be a good option, but you aren't going to carry much since, you know, dirt bike. The Roadkill is a simple tank that can't even move and attack at the same time. The in-game description even describes its use as build on site and abandon when done. can see it makes for good mobile turrets and support in the early game or for defenses. The Highwayman is a favorite of many for its design, cost, and abilities. A bit more defensive, built with a turret that works even while moving. The Highwayman is perfect for hit and runs and supporting a team with defense or offense. The Bunsen is a small tank with a flamethrower. I don't need to explain why this is made of awesome. While fire won't always be the solution to your problems, when it is, you will be glad to have it. Like the Highwayman, use it as support. The Scytheman is a mobile artillery capable of firing 2 salvos of inaccurate shots. Use this for groups of targets, aiding in raids, and of course making sieges regret keeping their volatile explosives out in the open. Finally, the Toad. A bigger variant of the Frog, it carries more troops and even comes with a mortar on top. Perfect for smaller raids to get in and out and even support the team from the back. A bit useful even in the later game for trade jobs or just messing around with a literal mobile mortar launcher. So yeah, that's all the tier 1 vehicles, lighter and cheaper stuff. Now, if you want some heavy metal machines, you should look into our sponsor, War Thunder, the most realistic military combat sim on the market today. And did I mention it's free and available on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox? War Thunder offers an unparalleled experience in military vehicle combat gaming. Jump into the thrilling battles of War Thunder, where carefully modeled vehicles, super realistic graphics, and sound effects put you in the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. Join a worldwide community of over 70 million other players in epic PvP battles, and explore the extensive library of high-quality content that War Thunder provides. There is simply no game better suited for fans of military history. But wait, there's more. A massive bonus pack is available for new and returning players that haven't played in at least 6 months across all platforms that you can get today at the pinned link below. You will get 7 days of premium account, an exclusive vehicle decorator, Eagle of Valor, and 100,000 silver lions. What are you waiting for? Try War Thunder at the link below. Now for Tier 2 vehicles. Tier 2 vehicles are obviously better tiered vehicles that require more parts, but hey, you also get machines that aren't put together with paper clips, bubblegum, and some prayer. Yeah, it's a bit better. First, the Wagon, a great middle-of-the-road transport or caravan car. Use it for raids, shopping, or, pretending you are Dexter's dad with the classic station wagon. Wood paneling optional, of course. The Roadrunner is your semi-truck for transport. Decent speed and durability, not to mention cargo space. Makes it great for those on the road runs. Just watch out for coyotes. The Snatcher is the classic white van for the sophisticated raider group. I mean, just pull up, unleash the mooks, and then drive off with any prisoners in tow. Charlie, the motorcycle, the proper chopper to quickly get from point A to B. Faster than the dirt bike, with slightly more carrying capacity, great for one-man armies or just a quick delivery job. The Trawler is the boat upgrade. Still not the fastest, its surprisingly good cargo and low profile makes it a great ship for smuggling operations from island bases, and perhaps a bit of fishing if the mechanic is put in. The Mosquito is a quick helicopter that is perfect for small strike teams or deliveries. Being a helicopter, you also don't need a large landing strip like other air vehicles. The Smuggler is your first plane. Requiring 30 tiles of landing strip, this plane can go large distances and deliver what you need. Just remember to pack extra fuel for the return trip. Use it more for trade rather than combat due to the tile requirement and lack of weapons. Finally, combat vehicles, a variant of Tier 2 level. You need combat vehicle research to make these, but to use for them is obvious, supporting or being the main line in a raid or defense. First, the Bulldog, a simple tank with a turret that moves via a gunner. This is perfect for supporting with side strikes, and the durability means if you won't have to come back for repairs early in the fight. The Tango is an APC armed with an autocannon that boosts decent armor piercing, making it great for running in, dropping the troops, and then helping with beefier targets. The Warbird is a light plane designed to support from the air with its pilot. Controlled bullets, strafe, and hit and run with this one, since the weaker armor means this birdie might just fall if you aren't careful. Finally, the Winston, the battle truck which sports the best passenger capacity at 9. You can bring in the whole squad for your next raid and still have room for more loot. Oh yeah, definitely bring on your next neighborhood barbecue. I like this one. This is one of Noobert's preferred. I like me like, Noobert like. So finally, what else you get? The ability to tweak the colors of your vehicles with paint jobs or decal packs. Go nuts. Have fun. Make stuff that fit the narrative or go completely garish. Other things to look into is the memes you get for your ideology. They can really help a certain vehicle play style. Sky Seekers live for the thrill of flight, demanding the use of flying vehicles and in return provide faster research, better fuel efficiency, and the hatred of smaller enclosed spaces. Nauticals, meanwhile, prefer the high seas, demanding boats to make them happy. They disapprove of flying and driving, but will be happy to endure harsher weathers, as a lot of fishermen tend to take on. Road Ragers are your Mad Max-style meme, forbidding flight and sailing and instead upping their road vehicle speed at the cost of fuel efficiency. But hey, they also hit people harder and can repair faster thanks to all the damage you're gonna do to them. Finally, Travelers, a basic meme for people who just want to use the vehicles and be happy about it. All vehicles are approved and they even enjoy roughing it out on the road, so they won't complain about being wet, sleeping on the ground, or eating without a table. Wait, what? Best meme ever. 8 out of 10. Too much water. So now to talk about Tier 3 vehicles. Since out of all the expansions to vanilla expanded vehicles, it's the only one officially released. Yeah, as of writing, of course. So, what makes Tier 3 vehicles special? Well, you can't research to make them. Instead, you have to look around for wrecks on the maps you visit. So, for example, if you go score some old ruins to pick up some information for a relic you have, you might stumble on a special wreck. For there, you can work on tuning it up and actually make your new vehicle right there. After that, you can research how to duplicate it and make more. I love this idea. It makes you want to explore and find them all, and they have some good looks and abilities attached. Like the classic Springbuck, though to be honest feels like a Corvega, and your pawns will love this classic ride as they get a buff for riding around the car. The longer the ride, the longer the buff. Aside from that, a good travel vehicle, but build it from a classic car wreck and be happy you did. The supercar wreck may be a super mess, but when you fix it up, you got the kind of car Sonic would love. With super high speed, the only thing you will wish for is insurance and airbags. If you crash this thing, of course. Still great for getting from point A to point B. The battle tank wreck provides the Marshal. This huge tank comes with a main turret for longer range explosive engagement, a gunner mounted machine gun for those who don't know when to stay back, and even smoke poppers to prevent turrets from targeting. Highly recommended for the front line with its great armor and weaponry. The Lav wreck makes a Paladin. Well, in this case. A Paladin is a light armored vehicle meant for carrying targets in and out of the front line. Armed with a smokescreen launcher, it doesn't fight on its own, but rather supports when things get dicey. I think you can get good use out of it, especially if things get a bit hairy and you need to reposition. The IFV gives the infantry fighting vehicles Badger, a smoke pop, launching infantry carrying and cannon firing machine. Granted, the cannon doesn't have the most armor piercing, it can help in a pinch, and being able to launch smoke pops and move in distract opponents can always help. If you fix up the off-road Jeep wreck, well, you get the Jeep. This one is called the Nomad, mostly because it's built for moving colonists around non-roaded areas like a Nomad. It isn't the fastest or most sturdy, but it will help with moving through terrain that other vehicles would struggle on. The helicopter wreck provides the Louis, a quick copter designed for quick drop in and drop out for troops. Hit and run. That's the name of the game, plus it looks cool. Now, if you can find the truck wreck and get that big rig up, you are set for on-the-road delivery. Boasting the best road safe storage, you got the perfect caravan vehicle. Not the fastest, but certainly better than being on foot. Just don't go racing with it. It never works out. Now, the refrigerated truck wreck is interesting, since the Hermano is a way to store perishables for long treks, and yes, it works through the caravan. The only downside is that it has less space to carry than the big rig, and also that the vehicle will continue to run even when your pawn isn't driving it, so you need to keep it supplied with more chem fuel to keep the refrigeration up. The cargo heli wreck provides the Cherokee copter, and this is the best vehicle for delivery, requiring 2 pilots to move the lumbering behemoth. You can carry it all, just don't expect it by Christmas, when you deliver it in July. From the artillery rack comes the Udar. With medium range, you can back this guy in the back of a raid and bombard the opponents in front of you. Oh, and you can have a second gunner to speed up reload time. Yes, seems like a good idea to me. The rocket artillery rack makes Buria, though when it fires, it says booyah, cause that's a real bombardment. Using this is a deliberate thing, as it takes 12 seconds for it to unload and prepare to fire, and to load and move away. But seriously, when you got it set up, big groups of enemies better watch out, cause the 1812 Overture will be playing when this baby fires. Finally, the Siege Pod Wreck makes the one, the only Goliath. This huge drop pod acts as a mobile base, coming with 4 corner-mounted turrets, a small rocket launcher, and enough space for some commandos to be dropped off. Yeah, this is the kind of vehicle you bring to the middle of the action. Just remember, the turrets do have limited angles they can fire at. Now, before we go, we're going to go over some vehicle mods that I think add to the experience or are just some cool mods that utilize the vehicle framework. Obviously, there are more if you go looking for them, but these are some of the selected good ones that I have. Alpha add-ons. First up are the Alpha vehicle mods, since the Alpha series of mods is basically a vanilla expanded side grade. It'd be a stupid thing to not mention them. Yes, yes. Coming in with 2. As of writing add-ons, the Neolithic vehicles will provide you early options for primitive colonies, especially since you don't need any fancy researches or material to make them. How they work is, instead of normal fuel, they use the driver's own energy for some, like, say, wagons and rickshaws. So anyone driving these vehicles will find themselves more hungry and tired. Animal-powered, like carts and chariots, are fueled with hay and kibble, and will always use the fuel even when not in use. The good news, if they run out of fuel, they won't die, instead refusing to move. Yes, hunger strike is a thing on the rim. But what about the second one? Well, it's the Age of Sails. That means the golden age of piracy, with ships that provide better speed, cargo space, and of course, more room for your jolly band of misfits. Now, to make ships, you will need research. However, you do start with tier 0 base ships, meaning no research and no fancy material. The cog junk and longship are your starting ships. Slow, clunky, but if you want proper seafaring ships, they are solid foundations for any pirate base. Now for fuel. The mod actually uses a complex system to create wind direction, so you have to catch the wind, and I'm just messing with you. Actually, the ships don't use fuel, so don't worry about that. Just worry about packing enough oranges on your ship. From tier 1 and tier 2 ships, now you need proper material. Fast and sails, rig and sailing instruments, and of course reinforced wood, all of which can be made of crafting spots. Yes, you can make them at crafting spots, not out of crafting spots. At crafting spots. And smithies, of course, too. Tier 1 ships include caravels, caravels, my bad, both regular and combative pirate variant, and the sloop, all 3 of which are reliable ships for their purposes of oceanic travel. Tier 2, meanwhile, get the galleon, with enough cargo capacity to carry another boat, the frigate with plenty of fire, and the brig, that's good at carrying prisoners, yeah. If you plan to play more island-based colonies, this mod might be a necessity, plus it's fun to play pirates. For this next one, a bit of a warning. For some people, it doesn't work, but we have to mention it. The deconstructible vehicle junk mod is, well, what it says. A mod to let you deconstruct all those vehicle wrecks for parts. See those old war walkers? Might have some stuff to use later. How about old car wrecks? A few good tires could be there. And tier 3 vehicle wrecks don't plan to come back. Deconstruct them for their parts. Use them on other vehicles. Yeah, a mod that vehicle lovers will enjoy for obvious reasons if the mod works, mind you. Every vehicle is a generator. So this mod will help out with rating so much. Every vehicle is a generator makes it so all vehicles provide constant power. All you do is park the vehicle, turn on the toggled power option, and your vehicle will use its fuel to act as a generator. The value of consumption and power provided based on general stats. So yeah, bring some extra turrets or powered items for the raid if you want a fallback point. But also remember, spare fuel, don't want to not be able to get back, after all. So for this next mod, you could think of it as a top-of-the-line, powerful vehicle, a monster against all life. Be grateful it's on your side. It's the Mother, or HK, tank. Once it's up and operational, you got orbital bombardment, twin Goliath plasma cannons, and many camo masks for your site of choice. This mechanized overseer with tactical heavy energy response for enforcement and retaliation will be your defender, provided the machine uprising doesn't happen, of course. Real talk, this is a sick-looking vehicle which you may recognize as the Hunter-Killer tank from the Terminator franchise. Yes, it certainly lives up to its name, and if you want something for the endgame for defense or offense, I've seen far worse, for sure. This is a good option. Of course, if you want something less apocalyptic, how about looking to the classic gaming for your next ride? All the way from the Sega Saturn, we have Gunriffin, and the classic mechs mod provides us with a reimagining of these sweet-looking mechs. Working to act a bit more balanced, you got high power and speed, but with less defense, as even conventional weapons can cause damage to them and the pilot, not to mention a lack of fuel and cargo space. You will have to bring a lot more resources out to the field, but it's worth it when you got the whole squad armored up and ready to face down any opponents, be it man, machine, or insect. For the final set of vehicles, we look to the grim dark future of the Rimworld 40K series of mods, complete with many favorites, from the Astartes Warbike to the reliable Le Mans Russ, and of course the ultimate in all armies, the Baneblade. Put one of these out in the field and your opponent is gonna feel the Emperor's fury, and a couple of 380mm cannon shells up the rear. More than likely, yes. Yeah, for obvious reason, use this mod with any other Rimworld mods. It throws in its own vehicle bench for the mod's custom vehicle parts to even make them. Go with the Emperor's Blessing as you wipe out your enemies. What's that? Oh, I see. I'll let them know. Okay. This just in, we got some vanilla vehicle upgrades to play around with. Vanilla vehicle upgrades! As the name implies, you now can upgrade your ride. Now your tier 1 and 2 vehicles have the ability to stick around to the endgame and still feel viable. As of riding the Traveler, Mule, Bang Bus, Roadkill, Highwayman, Prowler, and Bunsen all have upgrades that you can now make. Every other vehicle will eventually be updated to have upgrades. However, keep in mind, this is only for Tier 1 and 2. Tier 3 is considered specialized enough to not need them. Plus, guess what? The upgrades have a visual change. Didn't need to do that, but it's pretty cool to see the different looks on your car. More so since you can change how they look visually already with the paint system. Oh, and major upgrades can be stacked, provided they aren't mutually exclusive. So have fun, get to tinkering, and keep an eye out on this mod. Never know what new add-ons for your major rides will show up. I just wanted to take a moment to remind everyone, again, of today's sponsor, War Thunder. I can't thank them enough for helping fund this content. Much appreciated. Be sure to grab the game at the link below, like mentioned before. You can play the game for free on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation by using my link in the pinned comment or video description. Anyone that is new or hasn't played in the last 6 months will be able to get their hands on that massive welcome bonus. Grab yourselves 100,000 silver lions, a week of premium account access, and of course, that exclusive vehicle decorator, Eagle of Valor. So yeah, vehicles expanded. I remembered so many years ago people wanted so badly for there to be proper vehicles, and I remember the April Fool's joke that Oscar did with the vanilla vehicles expanded. Yeah, making animals that were vehicles. We remember that. But the seeds were there. And look at where it all. Yes, all of it. And the best part, there is more to come. Just be patient, and I'll be there to rev up my engines and shift into overdrive back to the rim, all with, when they get released.